welcome back to my channel. If you are not already subscribed, please do so. I'm trying to post a lot more like motherhood content. I'm still gonna do like beauty and fitness, lifestyle, all that, but I'm just trying to get into a little bit more of motherhood stuff now that I am a mom. So if you're interested in any of that, please subscribe. It would mean so much to me. Okay, let's get right into my birth story. I was due May 5th, 2024, and my water broke May 5th at, I want to say it was like 2 p.m. So I was kind of in the mindset like I had been doing all the things to try to get this baby to come out. I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna be pregnant forever. I was in that mindset at that time. Like everyone was texting me, oh, is baby here? Oh my gosh, is it time? Is your water broke? Blah, blah, blah. And I was literally texting back my aunt, and as my water broke, we're laying on the couch watching a movie, me and my husband. He's passed out at this time, and I'm just like all depressed. I'm laying on my side, my left side, and I just heard a pop. It was so weird. I had no idea that I was actually gonna physically be able to hear it. And I felt it, like it felt like a balloon. I don't even know how to explain it. And it sounded like a balloon popping. But there was no water or anything. So you always hear about people's water breaking and then there's fluid everywhere. So no fluid. And I was like, I wake up my husband, I'm like, Miles, when I stand up, there's gonna just be a gush of water. So I stand up, nothing. And I was like, that's so weird. Like maybe I'm imagining things. As soon as I went to the bathroom, I sat down on the toilet, then it started coming out of me. And I looked in the toilet. It wasn't like what you would expect though. It still wasn't like a gush. It was like a little bit here, a little bit there. But I looked in the toilet and I saw brown spots in it, which I immediately knew was meconium, which is not good. If you have meconium, it means that the baby could inhale it and aspirate on it, which means go into the lungs, which is really dangerous. So I was like, we need to leave right now. I called my sister who's had 5 kids. She was a labor and delivery nurse. Called her, and she called my midwife, who is a family friend as well. And she said, yeah, get to the hospital immediately, but don't freak out. She was like, it's okay, don't freak out. So yeah, we started packing everything up. I brought my stethoscope with me thinking that I was going to be able to hear the baby. I couldn't hear anything. But I was just freaking out because we had a little over an hour of a drive, or maybe, but I was freaking out the whole car ride because this baby, she had been so active my whole pregnancy, so active. She didn't move at all the whole hour car ride, and I was freaking out, absolutely freaking out. So then we get to the hospital. My husband just pulled up to the door and I got out. I was fine. Like I was having contractions, but they weren't bad at all. So I walked in, went to the bathroom, fluid and the brown meconium was still coming out of me. So I was sitting on a puppy pad in the car the whole time. And I had put on some Depends diaper thing that I had packed anyway. Cause yeah, I was leaking the entire time. It wasn't just like one gush. And so they go to check me in. They tell my husband that he can't come in. So I go in and they bring you into like the triage room where they're going to ask you a series of questions. So they were asking like, do I feel safe? All this. They just want to make sure that you are not being abused, and that you feel okay. So to let your partner come in. So they finally let my husband in. Obviously they had hooked me up to the monitors too, so I could hear her. So I instantly felt relieved. Like I was like, okay, we're good. She's okay. And they brought us into our regular room. So, well, our labor room. My nurse came in. She hooked me up to my IV. I had to get an antibiotic because I was GBS positive? I can't remember. It can be harmful to the baby though, so you have to get an antibiotic before you give birth. So yeah, so they hooked me up to my antibiotic, and then my midwife got there and she was like, all right, we are going to do the Pitocin now. And I was like, should be easy peasy, no big deal. Like, my water broke, I'm having contractions already, I'm okay. And my husband had went and got me Chipotle because I was like, if I'm gonna eat, I need to eat right now because I hadn't ate anything like all day. So I'm eating. My midwife's like, okay, well, that's a good sign that you're eating right now. So then your contractions must not be that bad. And I was like, no, like, I'm good. This is not so bad. I can handle this. They hooked me up to the Pitocin. I almost died. It was so bad. Oh my gosh. My midwife, she's so sweet. She ran me a bath and everything. She's like, okay, if you want to try like the natural route, which I was trying to do, she's like, I'll run you a bath. So I get in, and I was having contractions for 2 minutes straight or more. I can't even remember. It was like 2 to 3 minutes straight. And I was getting like 30 seconds of rest in between. Like, this Pitocin was cranked all the way up or something. It was crazy. Like, they were like, oh my gosh, you are like contracting for so long. I was throwing up over the edge of the bathroom. So I tell my husband, like, okay, I need the morphine at least. So I'm like, go hit the call button. Go hit the call button. He's like, okay. He hits the call button. He comes back to the bathtub as I'm throwing up over the edge. And I'm like, did you ask for the morphine? And he's like, what? No, I hit the call button. And I was like, you have to talk to them through the speaker on the call button. Okay. I was like, okay, go tell them I want the morphine. So he goes back, tells them. I have to get out of the bathtub to get the morphine. So they give me the morphine. It does absolutely nothing. Doesn't even touch my pain. I was like, okay, I need the epidural. They have to run so much fluid before you can get your epidural though. So I had to wait like another 30 minutes, I want to say 20 to 30 minutes before they could do the epidural. So she starts running the fluid. I'm waiting for my epidural, literally like dying. I could not handle it. They ended up having to turn down the epidural. They had to turn down the Pitocin to do my epidural because I was contracting so much that I like literally couldn't even stay still. So the CRNA couldn't, she wasn't able to poke me. Once I got that epidural, chef's kiss. It was amazing. Like, I felt 1,000 times better. I finally could relax a little bit. Me and my husband, well, he fell asleep. I tried to sleep. It wasn't working. I was so thirsty. I cannot explain to you how thirsty I was. I drank probably, like, they had like the big cups, like probably almost Stanley size cups, like 40 ounces. And I was just chugging apple juice after apple juice after apple juice after orange juice after water. I had everything. I was just constantly, and I had a catheter in, obviously, from the epidural. And it was amazing not to have to get up and pee, I'll tell you that much. Because when you're pregnant, oh my gosh, you were going to the bathroom 24/7. So it was nice to be able to just like lay there and rest, even though I wasn't sleeping. I could not sleep. And then they obviously kept coming in and checking me to see how far dilated I was. I believe when I was in triage, I was only a 1. And I didn't start pushing until 2 a.m., I believe. And right before I started pushing, I believe I spiked a fever. So they were a little bit concerned. They were going to give me an antibiotic. I don't think they ever ended up doing it though. This is where it really gets like fuzzy because it just all, so much is happening, you know. And they ended up having the NICU team waiting while I was pushing, because I spiked a fever, my heart rate was really high, her heart rate was really high, and I'm pretty sure they thought that she had probably aspirated on the meconium. And so yeah, they were waiting. And then I pushed for like 3 hours. It was awful, I will say that. At that time, the epidural felt like it was not even there. And she actually ended up having to come back in before I started pushing, I forgot about this, and fix my epidural because one of my legs, I starting to feel it again. So she came back in and pushed a little bit more, and it was fine after that. once I started pushing for the 3 hours, it was awful, and I could feel it, and I just kept, every time I could hit that button to give more fentanyl, I was pushing it. Push. My epidural did not touch my pain while pushing, so that sucked. I'm sure it would have been 10 times worse though if I didn't have it, so I'm not complaining. But yeah, so pushed for 3 hours, spiked a fever, baby's heart rate was really high, so she finally came out, and she was not crying, and obviously that scared the crap out of me, so I'm like, Maisie, come on, give mom a cry. She finally cried a little bit. They ended up taking her over to the little incubator, and I'm sure they suctioned her. I couldn't see, but I'm sure they suctioned her, did all that, checked her, and then they brought her over to me for a second. You could tell that she wasn't like, you know, she wasn't moving all over. She was a little bit limp, so they took her right to the NICU. I only got to see her for like 20 seconds maybe. Took her right to the NICU, and they ended up putting her on a CPAP, which is continued positive airway pressure, if anyone doesn't know what that is. So it's not like being intubated, but it's just helping her breathe. So she needed a little bit of assistance there. She only ended up being on the CPAP for, I want to say like 3 to 4 hours, something like that, so pretty good. So they told my husband that he could either stay with me or go with the baby, and I was like, peace and love, go with our baby, go be with her. And then they got me cleaned and stitched up, all of that, and after that it was time to take the catheter out and see if I could go to the bathroom. I could not. I don't know, I could feel that my bladder was so full, but I don't know what it was. I don't know if in my mind I was scared to go to the bathroom because of the stitches and obviously all the trauma that had just happened down there. So I think I was getting in my head, and you know, the nurses there trying to help me, I couldn't go. So she ended up having to straight cath me, and oh my gosh, so much fluid came out of me. It felt so good. After that though, I don't think she had to straight cath me again after that. I was so tired though. I was going on over 24 hours of not sleeping, so this was all a blur, and they took my baby. That's all I could think about. So I finally got to go see her at like, I want to say it was like 10 a.m. when I finally got to see her, and she was so precious. So that was a really crazy moment, like not being able to hold your baby immediately. I don't know, that was really hard time. She ended up being in the NICU for 5 days, and I will say that I give so much credit to those parents that are NICU parents. I mean, we were so lucky that she was only in there for 5 days. I just cannot imagine longer than that. Like, we obviously stayed there because I was still a patient there for like 2 days. Yeah, 2 days, 48 hours. And then we ended up getting a hotel really close by because I did not want to drive an hour home and be that far away from her, because we were going back, like, we didn't sleep for a whole week straight. I'm telling you, like, I maybe got an hour here, an hour there, but it was kind of like the worst time ever. And I was trying to pump, but I didn't have a good pump at the hotel, so I had to go to the hospital to pump, and it was just a whole thing. She never latched on, so it was just a really stressful time. So I give props to all the NICU parents out there. It's so hard. I don't know how people do it like that, have to stay there months and up to a year sometimes. Like, that's so crazy and so sad. It's so hard. Shed a lot of tears, and we definitely shed some tears when we were told that she could go home. So her main issue ended up being that she was failure to thrive after the breathing issues, the respiratory issues resolved. She was failure to thrive. She wasn't eating enough. Even when she was eating, she wasn't gaining weight. So they called that failure to thrive, which now we know was because she has cystic fibrosis. and that can be a story for another time. I won't get into that, but if you are watching this and you are pregnant, good luck to you, congratulations, and you got this. This was my first baby. Don't be scared of a 3-hour pushing session. It's okay, you can do it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Yeah, if you want to leave any comments down below, tell me your birth story. Tell me if you're pregnant. Tell me if this is going to be your first baby, second baby. I want to hear all about it. Yeah, thank you again for watching, and please subscribe. Please like this video. It really helps me out. And yeah, thank you. Have a good day.